Hello, I'm Lauren. I bring to you my friend, Dr. Jabbour, a distinguished professor with a doctorate in Islamics. I invited Dr. Jabbour to read to you pages from his book, Unshackled and Growing, one small passage at a time. In addition, a PDF version of the book in English is available to you for free on the website friendshippathways.com. You may also access past episodes there. I present to you the episode, Prophecies About the Messiah.
Prophecies about the Messiah. The Old Testament contains nearly 50 prophecies about Jesus Christ, some of which were made centuries before his arrival on earth. The degree of exactness in these prophecies is mind-boggling. The prophet Isaiah, about 700 years before Christ, foretold that Christ would be born of a virgin. The prophet Micah, also about 700 years before Christ, prophesied that the Messiah would be born in the town of Bethlehem. The book of Genesis, about 13 centuries before Christ, and the prophet Jeremiah, about 500 years before Christ, foretold his ancestry line that he would be a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, from the tribe of Judah and the house of David. The Psalms, about 800 years prior to Christ, foretold specifically his betrayal, which would take place at the hands of Judas Iscariot. The Psalms also foretold the accusations against him made by false witnesses. But perhaps the most important prophecies Jesus fulfilled were those about his death and resurrection. One of the Psalms describes in detail how Christ would specifically die, yet it was written at a time when crucifixion was not even invented yet as a means of execution. The prophet Isaiah described the Messiah's suffering and death in great detail, hundreds of years before they actually happened. Some critics point out that perhaps Jesus intentionally went about fulfilling these prophecies. They claim that Jesus knew that there was a prophecy about the Messiah entering Jerusalem on a donkey, so that's what he did on that famous day, called Palm Sunday, a few days before his crucifixion. At face value, this argument looks convincing. In reality, it's a weak argument when you take all of the prophecies into consideration. How could Jesus control the fact that Judas was paid exactly 30 pieces of silver for his betrayal, just as the prophecy says? How could he arrange his own ancestry to fulfill prophecy? How could he arrange to be born in the town of Bethlehem when Mary lived in Nazareth? How could he arrange the events of his crucifixion and resurrection to match the account in the book of Isaiah?